In this Sean Speaks episode, I get to speak to you from my heart about an important part of parenting, family life, and a parent's mental health and mindset. I want to help you thrive in how you speak to your kids and how you speak to yourself. Sean Speaks is a live teaching I did with a Zoom room filled with my VIP members. It's interactive, it's spontaneous, it's raw and unedited. If you'd like to go deeper with me, visit my website. Holidays, and that was a trip. The first time you have your oldest child move out of the house is such a wild experience. And then to have that child come back for the holidays is just very emotional. It's very strange. So I looked at her phone because she had her phone out, and I noticed that she had a new screen like cover or screenshot on it, and it had a bunch of words on it. And so I said, oh, Maddie, what is that? And I looked closer, and on her screen, it said 10 ways to love. And it had these 10 little sentences written underneath it. And my heart just like bursted with like pride and joy that of all the gazillion billion things that an 18-year-old young woman could have, on her phone, that my daughter had a little reminder and encouragement about love. So I took a screenshot of it, and I wanted to share with us here today 10 ways to love. And I modified it a little bit, and I want to share 10 ways to love our kids and our family. Here's number one. Listen without interrupting. Oh my gosh, listening is so hard. I love to teach that really listening to somebody, especially your children, especially when they're going through something, really listening to them is one of the most loving, kind, amazing things that you can ever do for another person. If you think about some of the most irritable people in your life, people you don't like being around, probably one of the things you don't like about them is they're just a lousy listener. I went to a couple holiday parties, recently, and I got to tell you, I didn't really enjoy one of these parties because I'm out there trying to make new friends, trying to enjoy my wife, trying to enjoy people. And some of these people, they just love to talk about themselves. And here I am, asking questions, listening to them. And it's like, what the heck? It's like I just went to this party and like I just listened to people talk about themselves for all these hours. And if you think about what a wise sage is, whether it be in your life or somebody, maybe a character in a movies, sages listen well. But this is why listening is so tough, because our kids, and they don't speak very well. They speak in a way that really annoys us, that bothers us, that helps us to feel disrespectful. And then we stop listening. And then we tell ourselves, I'm not going to listen to this. Stop talking to me this way. But you know what love is? Love is unconditional. Love is being gentle and being open when your kid is talking to you in a way you don't like. 10 ways to love. Number one, listen without interrupting. Number two, speak without accusing. Speak without accusing. For some reason in the English language, when we get stressed, angry, we come out with this word. It's got 3 letters in the word, and it's how we talk. And it's like as adults, we have to train our minds to not talk with this 3 letters word. The word is you. You are so disrespectful. You are out of control. You're being mean. You have to share. You don't even understand. You were acting crazy at that party. You. Speak without accusing is such a great way to love. Number 3, give love. We've all heard this concept of the 5 love languages, and occasionally I'll just bring it up here. Like, your kids have their own love languages, and let's not miss that. I remember that, speaking of this oldest daughter, I remember this just such a life-changing moment for me, because here she was like 5 years ago, she was 13, and she's asking me for help for something. And I respond to her in a way that I had been responding a lot to her. And the response was kind of no. Why was I responding no to her? Because I'm trying to raise a strong young woman here who doesn't ask for help, who steps into these problems. And she did not respond well to my no. And it was messy. She talked to me and I was really listening without interrupting. I didn't like what she was saying, but I learned something. I learned that even though she wasn't going about saying at age 13, Dad, my love language is acts of service. Okay, I would like for you to know that, Father, because I'm 13. Come on, no, like freaking 13-year-old's going to talk like that. I realize I'm missing out. This is my daughter's love language is acts of service. Give their love language. You know, what we often think of as love is, I'm only going to treat you well if you treat me well. And it's hard for me to show you love and kindness because of how you're treating me. But you know what true love is that you don't expect love back from the other person. That is such a greatest form of love, if you ask me. How do we love our kids and family? Number 4, answer without arguing. Oh my gosh, this one's so tough. Think about these as you listen. Which one do you need to do more of? Which one's the hardest for you? Our kids' communication is very, very poor. They're kids. Parents are teachers in every home's a school. So it's a challenge to raise them up into good communication. So you should expect your kids to whine. There's no good food at the house. Mom, you come back from spending like $1,000 at Costco. What is this stuff? Where are you going to buy anything good? You're like, freaking A. Kids are such selfish jerks sometimes. The nagging. Now. I need it now. Oh, the complaining and the negativity. It's so easy for us. We're driving the car and just they're saying something and we just cut them off. We argue with them. We shut it down. And what love is that we answer without arguing, because we can be loving when they are unloving. We can be loving when they are really affecting our emotions. Number 5, speak the truth in love. We all have our own versions of what's true and the truth. And what we have so much in our society is that we have people just coming out and saying, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Look, here's the blunt truth. I know, here's a little, when I'm doing consult calls with people on the phone, oh my gosh, here's something I hear about every 2 weeks. I'll hear the mom or the dad on the phone and they'll say something like, I just don't understand, like my kid, like I'll call him out for something and like just respond so poorly. As soon as I hear that term calling out, I just start kind of like thinking, okay, tell me about this calling out procedure that you have. Is it amazing? Is it a soft startup? Tell me about this calling out. If you were to call me out, would I handle this well? It's like, you know what? It's like there's so much of our calling out of our kids. We got these strong parents like me. It's like we want to call our kids out. Let's do it. Call them out. I was trying to call my kid out on 3 things last night. And it's just how you call someone out. First of all, if you're thinking I'm calling you out, you're probably not like doing that well in love. You're not probably going to get a good response if you're thinking to yourself, I'm calling you out. It's like there's so much better ways with using little sugar and spice and to speak our truth to people, to speak things. Just because you might see something on Fox News or CNN, it doesn't mean we need to talk to our kids in the same way that they are talking to us. Number 6, how to love. Enjoy without complaint. Enjoy without complaint. Something I've learned about parents in the last couple of years. Some parents are they're big complainers. It's like they talk crap about their own kids in their own mind. They may not say out loud, like, my kid is such a selfish jerk, and this kid's an idiot. This kid's so annoying. But they actually screw themselves because they let that self-talk just like manifest in their own mind. Like, would that be good for you to go to your job every day? Let's say you got a douchey boss, and I guess guy's so douchey. I hate this boss. Is that going to be good for you? Is that going to be, you're going to enjoy your job? Are you going to make the most of it? Or how our mindset is, right, can make such a big difference. And for us to get through these challenging years of parenting with our most challenging kids, how we talk to ourselves is even more important than how we talk to our child, right? Number 7, ways to love our child and our family. Trust without wavering. What does that mean? It means so many things. One of the things I think about with trust is I'll say, parenting is never about what it's about. And then what I will normally say after that is one of the things it's normally about is trust. We want our kids to be able to trust us to be the adult in the relationships, to take care of our responsibilities, to bring nice food into the fridge, even if they're going to complain about those little punks, to be able to manage our emotions on a consistent basis, not perfect, that's for sure, to be trusting them that we're going to apologize if we cross the line, share power with them. And one of the things I think about is trust is to just use our minds to think good things about them. Like if they go to the mall with their friends for the first time, to let go and let them have that time at the mall and not ruining their time by blowing up their phone like you're some kind of weird FBI agent tracking them, just trusting them to have their own life and to kind of live their life and to let go as they get older, the step by step, this letting go process. Trusting them, to have the freedom to make mistakes. And then if they do, that's when we step in. Number 8 way we can love our kids is we forgive without punishing. As you know, for me, I'm just not really into punishing. If we have to use our power with our kids, the way I think we should use it is either with this term called natural consequences or emotional consequences. And punishing is this other version of just like punishing. And I just invite us to think about the faith that we have and to put our faith not in punishing, but our faith in all these other things that I like to teach about. And sometimes one of the best things you can do with your kids is just to forgive them and just to move on. And that could be some of the best things you can do with your own family members, is not live in that resentment of what you're going through. Sometimes family life, it's in marriage, it's not about what it's about. Sometimes it's about resentment. And you can't really move on and have healing or have the marriage you're looking for if one person is just harboring resentment and contentment towards the other. And that is a very challenging issue. But that also can happen in parenting too, especially if you got a child and you're 13, they're 13, and you've just been in the grind with them for years and years, and their behavior is really, really struggling. And I'm trying to coach you and help you with this child, but there's like a wall, there's a block, there's an issue at hand, and that is your resentment for your own child. I don't blame you and I don't judge you if you have that. I don't know what you've been through, but that has got to be addressed. And that's one of the best ways you can love your kids, is by really harboring a loving, open heart to your own child. I think what I see from parents of teenagers, see this extremely common, is that many parents, when they get to be like sophomores in high school, they just check out and they're just done because they're just exhausted and the resentment is so high and they just don't want to be a parent anymore. And that's one of the main reasons why we have so much passive parenting with high school kids nowadays, is because they're just so exhausted, but there's also a little bit of resentment in there. Like, I've just done so much for you and now you're just on your own and you're 13. Number 9 is something I really love. How do we love our kids and family? Is that we love ourselves. We love ourselves. We just take time for our own interests, our own mental health, or we take breaks, we take timeouts. We hang out with our friends. We go on getaways with our lovers. We love ourselves. I wish we'd had more time to talk about this section because I'm enjoying talking about this. And number 10 ways we can love our kid and family is that we promise without forgetting. What does that mean? I think you ask 10 people what that means, you'll probably get 10 different responses. I think that one of the main ways that we show up as healthy adults is, we keep our word. A little interesting fun fact about the Donahue household, we don't actually use the word promise. And if our kids are like, I promise, we actually discourage them from using that. We just teach our kids, let your word be your word. Like if you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't say I'm going to try. And don't say promise. And if you say you're going to try, then let's really talk about that. Does that mean you're going to do it or not do it? And what are we going to do if you don't do it? This is what we do as healthy adults. And if you're listening to this, you're probably really good at keeping your word. You probably are. I think most adults are really good at keeping your word. interesting study even about how if you tell a young child, like a 3-year-old or a 6-year-old, you might get ice cream, it just right there sends ice cream to their brain. All these chemicals and endorphins and this dopamine, they're imagining this amazing thing about ice cream. Because I'll tell you right now, I love ice cream too. If you tell me right now, Sean, I'm gonna come to your house, I might bring ice cream to you, I'll be like, let's go. And if you text me later, I'll be like, yeah, I changed my mind. I'm gonna be bummed. And I'm a grown freaking man because ice cream is so good. And so when you got to keep your word with your kids, and don't use loosey-goosey terminology to people please them or to get out of conflicts, because these are all 10 amazing ways to love our kids. Listen without interrupting, speak without accusing, give their love language, answer without arguing, speak the truth in love, enjoy without complaint, trust without wavering, forgive without punishing, love yourself, and promise without forgetting. Parents, thank you for letting me be a positive voice in your life. I love you and I love your family. If you're sick and tired of the same painful patterns in your parenting or the same painful bad behaviors in your kids, then what are you waiting for? Join me in my VIP membership. I'd love to speak with you and give you the specific tools that you need.